Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the August meeting of Farmville Board of Commissioners. We appreciate your taking this opportunity to join us this evening and engage in the local government process. This evening, we are pleased to have with us Oscar Coggins. Oscar is the pastor of the Providence Baptist Church here in Farmville, and he's going to come and lead us in our invocation, after which I will ask you to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. We all rise.
All right, let's pray. Father, we thank you today that you have given us another day of life. We thank you for the many graces of God and thy mercy which you have provided to each and every one that is here tonight. And Lord, we do come together tonight as our city councilmen come together and ladies come together tonight to take care of the government business of the town of Farmville. Lord, today we were meditating from the Word of God, the responsibilities of leaders that the Bible plainly teaches to us that you set in place. Yes, in America, Lord, we have this option of voting. But God, you put men and women up and you take them down as thou see fit. And we do pray for our mayor tonight. Give him wisdom as he leads this board. Be with these dear commissioners tonight, Lord. Give them wisdom as they view each item of business, that, Lord, they would make the best decision, that, Lord, which would glorify thy name, then that, Lord, which would be good for the citizens of Farmville. We thank you for our town, Lord, and how you've met the needs of this community for years and years. We thank you for all that you've done, and we ask that you would bless again these dear men and women tonight as they take care of the government of our little city. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pardon us, I didn't know the flag was hidden behind that banner. But anyway, we got through it. All right, we're now, I trust that you picked up an agenda package when you came in the back door. If so, you'll be able to follow along with the proceedings here this evening. And also, there's opportunities for you to learn some things about the process that we go through here. I intended to say something this evening about the where am I at here? How a citizen can be heard. But let me just say that it tells you how we operate up here, and there was some difference of opinion in how we carried out last month's meeting. I would encourage you to take this home with you and read it. It does not depict exactly what we do, but we will decide that and we'll make amends to it before the next meeting, so you'll see something a little different. But take a look at that. All right. We're down to citizen presentation now, and I have two. We asked you to sign up before the meeting, and I have two presentations that I want to make, and as I normally do for anything that we get from the outside world. The first one, I cannot tell you who it is. I think one of our officers might be able to know, Brandon Cox, but it's to the community of Farmville. It says, thank you all. I cannot begin to put into words how grateful I am to the law enforcement officers of the community of Farmville for your help in finding Tucker against all odds. Your concern and determination will never be forgotten. Please accept this donation as my utmost gratitude, family of Emily and Tucker. Can you add anything to that, Chief?
Sir.
Can you add anything to that?
During the 4th of July celebration, she was here visiting somebody on the farm. When the fireworks went off, her dog ran off and was gone. We
Okay. Well, good, thank you. Then the second one I have is on behalf of the leadership for the Farmville Community Garden. Thank you, comes from Bess Patton. It says, Dear Mayor Evans and the Farmville Board of Commissioners, thank you for your generous contribution to the Farmville Community Garden. Your finance and support will be used to embrace the area and buy much needed tools and supplies. And that was said by Bess Patton. You can pass those in. Also, while I've got the floor here, I want to pass along our congratulations to Commissioner Brenda Elks, who was named sometime in the last month as Channel 9 and Southern Banks, Southern Stars of the so we just want to thank you. All right, given that, we'll go on to our list of people who wish to speak. The first one is Jay Johnson.
Mayor, I think that was supposed to be under citizen comments.
Well, same thing. That's it.
I came to this board, good evening to everyone. I came to this board a couple of months ago asking about the advertisement of signs, being that, with the line bikes that's been put out, with the advertisements that's on the line bikes and everything, and I felt like that, the police department, they were doing their job. They brought me my signs when I was back advertising. Those signs cost me about $12 a piece, and I had 10 of them, so it's about $120 that I shelled out of my pocket. Brought back, told me that I couldn't put them out, $50 per day. Well, as I can see that there's still, line bikes still out, still advertising, local businesses. And talking to someone, the lady who owns the Farmville Flea Market, she was done the same way. She put a sign out in front of U.S. Cellular at the intersection. Police brought it back to her, told her town ordinance is no signs advertising, except in your property, okay? And, as the chief said, they allow businesses at the sidewalk to put stuff out. But these line bikes are all over town. They're supporting a local business. Okay, if you're going to put a sign out to advertise your local business, it's supposed to be on your business, not everywhere. They're blocking sidewalks. And I believe y'all were told that somebody's supposed to move them anywhere from 24 to 48 hours. They're not supposed to stay in the spot. I know for a fact they stayed at Farmville Middle School for a week and a half. They also, it may be in a month. I know they stayed in front of Sandy's when she was on vacation for a week and a half. They never got moved. Okay, here I am trying to advertise my business, increase my business, and then if Line Bike wants to leave their bikes right there in front of where they're at by the Piggly Wiggly, I don't have a problem with that, but they're not there. They're supporting a local business all over town. Plus, they're in the ditches, they're in the woods, they're in everywhere else. I know that's not any of your concern because they told you they would handle all that. But I just feel like that the businesses are not getting a fair share of being able to advertise like Line Bike does. And so that's, I don't feel like that, we should, as business owners and other people, should be able to advertise. There's mattress signs everywhere. We buy used mattresses, we buy houses, but yeah, the local business who's a brick and mortar in downtown Farmville can't put out something to advertise to show people what we got, but everybody that's outside of Farmville can. I just don't think it's fair. So that's all I've got to say. It's whatever y'all going to do, it's y'all's decision, or if there is anything. But I just wanted to be heard about that situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Yeah, I guess we're going to have to deal with it. Amy, do you have the clock? Do you have the clock tonight? Okay. All right. Next is Brad Johnson.
evening, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. I come to you this evening to ask for and invite you to a back-to-school cookout event. Some of you may remember last year we did a cookout to welcome staff back to all 3 Farmville schools. We're planning on hosting it Wednesday. Hold on. I'll tell you the date. 22nd, Wednesday the 22nd. We'll start about 11:30. If you want to see me sweating, you can come out there a little earlier. I'll be cooking on a hot grill. Last year, I believe the town was willing to support financially that effort. Anything that you're willing to do this year, we would certainly appreciate, but we definitely want to invite all of you out. It'll be a big event to welcome back our staff, and I think it's nice to have you guys there.
What are you wanting? What are you needing?
Really anything. I think last year the town donated, I think it was $400. I'll have to go back and look for sure. Basically that purchased all the meat and most of the bread needed for the event. Staff members are bringing side dishes for, a general family cookout experience. We usually take care of the plates, napkins, cups, things of that nature. But generally anything that the town's willing to help with, we would certainly be appreciative. The event's going to happen regardless, but certainly it will be a little bit better event if there's some extra financial support to go along with it.
Is it going to be at the middle school or?
Be at the high school
high
again.
school?
Yes, sir. We use the cafeteria, so I'll be cooking right outside the football ticket booth. If you need to find me sweating, that's where I'll be. And I can assure you it will be sweating. I'll have 2 changes of clothes that day. So any
But just
questions
do a
you have,
good
I'll be
job.
happy.
Do a good job cooking. Don't worry about you
We
sweating.
didn't have any complaints last year, although we've decided that charcoal grills are not the option. It's definitely gas grills. So we'll have a couple gas grills set up, ready to go. It's a good event. The teachers really enjoyed it last year. They really don't get a lot of opportunity to see each other during the school year, even though we're located as close as we are. We're all working. So this is one opportunity they get to come together as a group and really fellowship together.
Okay.
So any questions you have, I'll be happy to answer.
Anybody? All right, thank you, Brad.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you there. All right. Yeah.
Can we take action on that now? or
Well,
can
we're
we-
not-
Changes and deletions.
Okay.
All right, town manager's comments?
Just had a couple of things, just wanted to mention, I mentioned in my report to you on Friday, but just want to remind you, in case you haven't noticed, that we're doing a lot of sidewalk work. Hope you're pleased with that. It's been delayed somewhat because of the weather, but Grimmersburg is getting some new sidewalks. We took out a tree on Wilson Street, and we're going to pour that hopefully tomorrow, if weather permits. And we've got several other projects planned, mainly on West Wilson after we finish Grimmersburg. So trying to get this Grimmersburg done before school's back in session. So that should be ready to go by then. A couple other things. We've got National Night Out with local churches and the police department tomorrow night. I think it's at 6, Town Common, and they've got a movie and bounce house and food and all sorts of great things. So I hope everybody can come out for that. And then the last thing I just wanted to mention, you may or may not remember back in January 17, the board voted to surplus an old Freightliner fire truck and offered for sale by negotiated offer. And the fire department's received a bid from Newton Grove Fire Department for $16,500. So we have started that 10-day clock, which is required, advertising the bid. And after 10 days, it can be sold. Obviously it's a fire truck, but it's not in great shape and it's surplus to the town. So that ad went in on August 1st. So around the 11th, which I think is a Saturday, but say the following Monday, if we don't have any other bids, then we would sell that vehicle. So just want to inform you of that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you, David. Financial report, we have one in our agenda package. And just as always, we look at that, study that, and if the finance director has any, or if we have any questions to her, she'll be glad to answer them. Anybody have any questions? Okay, so we'll go down now to changes, additions, and deletions to the agenda. And Commissioner Moore just mentioned something about the school. We also have some other things up here. David, you want to acquaint us with these?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We got actually 3 other items. I sent out to you, I think it was Thursday maybe, one of our items came in, actually the agenda was already being printed. It's acceptance of the Basin 5 sewer grant. Sent out all the material to you, also placed copies at your place tonight. This is a 100% grant, no town money involved. Obviously, we talked about that project for a long time, so it's good news that we were able to get that. So we need to add that item. Also, item 18 regarding the library naming policy. I've talked to David Miller today, and there were a few issues that needed some more clarification, so I'd ask if the board would remove that from the agenda and instead place it on the September board meeting. And then the last thing is I erroneously put citizen comments after the closed session. It's supposed to be before. So item L really should be K and K should be L. That's the changes I would recommend.
All right, this one we have here, the State Water Reserve, accept that, the one that you put out there. Let's make that 18. That'd be all right with everybody? And that will replace the naming of the library. We also had, while we're dealing with it, Commissioner Moore, what did you have in mind when? What did you have in mind when you talked about we do it with the changes, additions, and deletions to the agenda?
That's where it needed to be done.
I'd like to see us put the discussion about the donation to the school as item number 1, if we could, so that I'm sure Mr. Johnson's got a lot going on at the school he needs to get back to.
All right, board, you heard that would be placed before the public hearing, and I don't know that there's anything sacred about the public hearing being first. David, is it?
I don't think so. You advertise the meeting for 6:30, so as close to 6:30
All
as
right.
you can make it as fine.
Let's make it item A.
A.
Yes, I believe one, the public hearings would be left as they are. So,
So we'll put that above, in front of the public hearing
Yes.
and do that, item 1A, okay.
yeah. All right, you want to make that in a motion that,
Yes,
and
I'd like-
include all the rest of the items. Did I miss anything you talked about, David?
I'm sorry. Eliminating item 18.
18, and we put this with,
Right, and you said put what was it, the
Water
cookout?
basin.
The item for the
what about it?
Basin 5.
No, we already got Basin 5, that's 18.
Right,
is
that's
it-
what he was saying.
Yeah.
Okay, Basin 5 is 18. Do the donation to the schools as the first item, action item.
All right,
Yes, sir, it's 1A.
Okay. And then the only other thing was
The elimination of the
library.
library. Okay.
okay.
I would like to make a motion.
And I'm sorry, moving citizen comments to item K.
Yeah, I knew there was something else, yeah.
Item L.
Okay, so you want me to include all that in my motion?
Yeah.
All right, I would like to make a motion that we discuss a donation to the Farmville schools as item 1A. We delete item 18, which is the library naming policy and guidelines, and add the water basin discussion as number 18. We move number L to number K and number K to number L. which would be the citizens discussion. And I think that's it, is that right?
Yeah. Good job. Everybody understand all of those? All right, the motion is to change these to fit that, and so the, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? The ayes have it. Now we're down to, and the agenda is approved as submitted. Now we're down to the thing with the school, and that is item 1A, prior to the public hearing. Now, what y'all want to say about it?
I make a motion, we donate $400 to the school's Welcome Back Cookout.
Okay. You've heard a motion by Commissioner Dixon that we approve the $400 to the schools for the back-to-school cookout. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. It seems the ayes have it. So, good job, Brad. Good job, Brenda, for pulling all that together. All right. Now we start with our public hearings, and the first one is the rezone parcels currently zoned as neighborhood business to residential R5. Who is going to present that? You are.
Okay, back at the beginning of the year, beginning of the calendar year, the planning board started a process where they were, the goal was to simplify the zoning ordinance. So they looked at all the zoning categories, and during that review, it was obvious that there was some duplication. There were some zones that next to nothing was actually zoned that, or the items were covered in other zoning districts. So in that process, the planning board decided to recommend that neighborhood business, rural business, and R12 districts in the ordinance be eliminated. So over time, there have been recommended, since that time, and some of this has already come to the board made some adjustments, both boards made some adjustments to the ordinance so that there would be, the uses would be permitted in some of these categories that were remaining if we were eliminating others. And so this first item is to, you've already voted a couple meetings ago to eliminate the neighborhood business district effective September 1. And so the second part of that was to take everything that was zoned neighborhood business now and rezone it to something. The planning board recommended that they all be R5. If you don't mind, I'll just approach it because the map behind me is going to be hard to see. I apologize. But R5, I mean, neighborhood business is concentrated. Again, I apologize for the size map. Give me the claim size. But anyway, these green areas along Wilson Street, West Wilson, and then there's one place on the corner of Fields and Wilson. Those are the only neighborhood business properties in town. I think it's 9 properties. And all of these, but basically everything on here is either, this is the vacant lot on the corner. These are all houses. Then you've got Colonial Inn and Zippy's. So those are all the properties. Everything else in town is something else other than neighborhood business. So the recommendation from the planning board is to take everything on neighborhood business and convert it to R5. Now, the houses there already comply with R5. I mean, that's really the zone they should have been. Zippy's obviously is not a permitted use in R5, neither is the Colonial Inn. It remains in business. However, they're allowed to continue to operate unless they cease to operate as a business. After that, then they would have to go back to some uses, residential. So that's the recommendation of the planning board. The folks that own these properties have all been notified. I've had 2, they were notified about this hearing. They were notified by letter. And I've heard from 2 of them. And neither of them have expressed a problem with the zoning once they got a chance to look at what R5 allowed. So, but they also, some of them may be here, I don't know. I've talked to folks on the phone, but I've never actually talked to them face to face. So That's the first hearing. That's the purpose of that, to, in essence, rezone these properties effective September 1st.
All right, that it? Okay, you've heard the presentation by the town manager, planning director. I now declare this a public hearing to be open for your comments. So if you have any comments, feel free to come forward and let us hear them. All right, seeing that there is none, then we'll close the public hearing at this time. And board, I will ask you for your consideration. Anybody have a motion or anything on this?
I'll make a motion, we rezone the parcels currently zoned neighborhood business, change them to R5.
Okay, you've heard the motion. Any discussion up here? Is,
That would be effective September 1, which is in the ordinances.
okay. Is Hairworks involved in this?
I think that's the other side of the street.
Okay.
It's all on that one
That one
side of the street.
Okay. All right, you've had a motion then that we approve this request. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. The ayes have it, and we're down to agenda item 2, which is another public hearing. And David, if you'll introduce us to this one.
Okay, this is, again, in that same study, there were 4 properties that were zoned rural business in the entire jurisdiction. Those folks were notified just like they did me. I have heard from none of them. But that is the area out here that's in purple. This is Stantonsburg Road, 121. This is the Hustle Mart, and there's a vacant lot on the corner, and there's a propane company, and I think that's vacant too. But all those people were notified, never heard from them. Oh, there's a church too, right out here. They were all notified, did not hear anything from them. They were made up during this hearing tonight. All those current uses are consistent with uses in highway business, so they're not going to be affected. Even if they burned down tomorrow, they could rebuild with exactly what they are now. So they're, unlike the one you just voted on, none of those folks have any, would not be concerned about the change of zoning because the new category is consistent with what they're being changed from.
That it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What you've heard, the introduction to the public hearing that we want to initiate now. And this is item number 2, and you heard that what they're wanting to do is. So I will declare this public hearing to be open now as well. And anyone who would like to speak to this board about this, please come forward. Since there is no response, I will declare the public hearing to be closed and give it to the board for their decision. And board, you've heard the presentation, you've seen the response. What is your pleasure?
I move that we rezone the parcel currently zoned as business to highway business.
Okay.
Have an opportunity to have the same
Okay.
requirements.
All right, you've heard the motion, board. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Ayes have it. The third public hearing is item number 3, and change for parcel zone A has R12 to be changed to R8. David, if you'll give us some information on that.
Okay, this one's a little bit more complicated. This affects several properties around town. We sent out over 200 letters, and of the 200, I think I got 8 calls from people that were currently R12. You can see on this map, and I'll turn it around, I'll show it to you on a bigger map, or a different map on the other side. This is the sort of salmon color. These are properties that are currently zoned R12. So you've got like Allen Drive, Bobby Hodge, part of Contentia, in that area near the cemetery, area around Ryan Drive. There's some Davis Circle, part of North Davis. Let's see, tracks on South Pitt Street, Melissa, Trey, Harper, and then also out here at Newtown Court. So it's a little bit, a number of places around town, but mainly over on this side, on the east side of town. The area that you see in purple is already RA. So in essence, we're converting all this salmon color to purple. So you see it's right next to purple in a number of areas. Again, everything in R12 is permitted in R8. So there's not going to be any inconsistent zoning or non-conformities created. And if I turn the map around to this other side, sort of the bigger picture. The areas I'm talking about would be but anyway, you're talking about over in right down in here, same color, salmon color. And then you've got the sort of purplish blue. This is R8, this is not changing. The salmon is changing to the blue color. So it's concentrated over in here. And then you've got that one outlier over here on that side of town. So that's your changes. And as I said, this would be also effective September 1st. It's approved by you. You've already eliminated the R12 zone from the ordinance, so if you do not approve it, then there's nothing for them to go to. So this is the final step on that.
All right, you've heard the presentation. I'll declare the public hearing to be open now to give you an opportunity to speak to it. So if you do have a comment, please come forward. Tell us your name, Jesse.
Mayor, Commissioners, my name is Jesse Harris. I live in Martha. I don't have quite any concerns. I have some questions about R8 and R12. In terms of special circumstances with special exceptions, what are they in terms of R8? And are they in R12 now?
Hang on just a second, Mr. Harris. I'll find that section. Okay. Yours is just the special exceptions, not the permitted uses. The special exceptions?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm looking to see if what are those with a special use permit,
Okay.
what can go in there that's not in there now?
Okay. In R12, you've got daycare centers, schools, governmental and public utility buildings and uses, public and private cemeteries, and athletic fields occupying more than 15,000 square feet, and bed and breakfast. That's R12. In R8, you've got the same, the public works, utilities functions. You also have daycares. Fire stations and related emergency facilities are in R8, but we're not R12. Schools, same as in R12. They also have multifamily structures by special use permit, subject to planning board regulations, and also site plan and dimensional requirements, that kind of thing. That is it. So the only thing, bed and breakfast isn't allowed in R8, but multifamily development under certain conditions with special use permit, which actually comes through the planning board of adjustment, would be in R8 and not R12.
So multifamily will be, if you change it, consolidate R12, that means multifamily will be in R12 too. Well, R12 will be gone, but multifamily can go in the existing one.
It would be allowed in R8, but it's a special exception, so it has to go through an extra permit process and meet site plan approvals and all these other.
Okay. In terms of R8, R12, R8 means that you got a minimum of 8,000 square feet. R12, you got a minimum of 12,000 square feet. I'm concerned about property values and property value evaluation. You know, from a general standpoint, if you're looking at property and you say, what is thrown into R8? Well, a minimum of 8,000 square feet. But also, if you consolidate it, it's also have property with 12,000 square feet. So if somebody's going to buy it, somebody's going to sell it, if they don't do their homework, they're not going to know whether it's 12,000 square feet or 8,000 square feet. And it may not make a difference, but it makes a difference to me in terms of, I don't plan on selling my property, but my kids might. So I want to make sure that the property value doesn't affect the property value. And when the tax evaluator evaluates it, they know that the property is 12,000 square foot plus and not 8,000 square foot plus. And I got a problem with that. And I'm not saying I don't have, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. But on the other hand, are you consolidating your other R zone? You have R15, R20? Do you have those?
We do.
Why are you not consolidating the R15 and R20 when they have similar uses?
They would not necessarily have, R12 and R8 are very similar, but R20 and R20 is actually an agricultural zone.
What's different except parcel size?
Well, in R20 you can have farms and agriculture. I mean, that's mostly out of town.
Okay.
R15 is just larger lot in town.
Okay, all right.
R20
I just want to voice my concern in terms of the potential for property devaluation and the special uses. I wouldn't want to see horse stable in an R12, which is conducive to R6. I know that's not there, but figuratively speaking, I wouldn't want to see that. But I appreciate your time and effort.
Well, that's what it's for, Jesse.
Excuse me?
I said that's what it's for you to voice your opinion.
Yeah, well,
Your concern.
I think I have. I just had to go to the planning board if they do something else in terms of special use permit. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Okay. All right, anyone else? Thank you, Jesse. Anyone else? If not, I'll declare this public hearing to be closed at this time. And board, you've heard Mr. Harris's concerns. Not thinking that we can't work through them, but is there a motion that we proceed with this declaration, this rezoning? If so, give me a motion.
Let me just make a comment I think Mr. Harris makes a very reasonable point, and I think that common sense will have to, I think that changing the zoning is the right decision, but I do think common sense will have to prevail in several circumstances like that you might have to be concerned with. But I mean, I think it's a very good point that you're making.
I'm just concerned that people who don't know this is going on and may want to buy property or sell property in those areas will be confused.
It wouldn't affect any established lot. And Chris, I'm not trying to sound like a lawyer, but any lot that's already established at 12,000 square feet, just because we changed the zoning to 8,000, it would still be a 12,000 square foot lot that without some major work, you wouldn't be able to subdivide, for example, into a smaller 8,000 square foot lot.
Well, I understand that.
Right.
I'm just concerned that when the property is sold, it's not been 8,000 and then 8,000 square feet versus perception of 12,000.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. I can see that concern.
But if you sell a lot, they would, during their due diligence, they would pick up the zoning classification, I would assume. And as far as appraisals and property values, they would look at the use as opposed to they would look at what is rather than what may be speculation down the road. Probably. I mean, I'm not an appraiser either, but they would look at what's there, I would think.
No problem. If there's an issue, we'll give it that planning board.
All right, thank you, Jess. Okay, I'm still looking for a motion.
I approve. I make a motion we approve the rezoning of the parcel zoned R12 to R8.
Okay. Commissioner Dixon made the motion. Any discussion, further discussion on it? All those in favor of the motion approving this, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. The ayes have it, and we'll go on to agenda item number 4, which is another public hearing. And David, I'll look to you for this.
Okay, this is more traditional. This is a request by Thomas Clay to rezone some property located on Turner Street from R5 to office and institutional. These are two parcels that were created through a subdivision recombination. He, in essence, took the back off of some lots that face Church Street that are closest to Turnage, that intersection, and combined them with lots behind there that face Turnage. And I think Harvey Fertilizer is next parcel going south on Turnage. So basically, these lots are sandwiched between some existing residential and basically industrial. And the planning board considered it. The chance of it being residential in this area, it's really a transition area. It's not really suitable for residential anymore because of the industrial use right next door and across the street. So the planning board saw O&I as being a suitable transition use. Not real intense, so it would be compatible with the residential to the north, but also not offending to any of the other surrounding properties to the south and west. That's the, so the planning board made a unanimous recommendation that it be rezoned.
All right, you've heard the presentation. Now I declare the public hearing to be open, and if anyone would like to speak to that, please come forward and do so. Seeing there is no presentation, I'll declare the public hearing closed. And board, I'll submit it to you for your consideration. Looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the planning board recommendation to change this to R5 house, from R5 residential to office and institutional district.
Okay, you heard the motion, board. Any discussion on it? If not, all who approve this motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. The ayes have it, and it's approved. And we're down to the last one. Is agenda item 5, and it's another public hearing, and we'll look to David for our information.
Okay, this is an item that actually this board saw back, I think it was in November, December. This is a parcel of land on Wilson Street and West Wilson Street, and it's an industrial zone sliver of land surrounded entirely by R5 zone. And the request is for it to go to R5 zoning, similar to, or identical to what's around it. The town board tabled it at that time and asked the planning board to consider looking at the R5 zoning and the several other zoning categories, which precipitated all these things that you just passed just now. But during that study, they also looked at the R5 zone and tightened some of those permitted uses. And so and you've already approved those. You approved those back in June. So since they have completed their study and review, and you've changed the R5 permitted uses as requested, then this petition is coming back up for your consideration. And the recommendation from the planning board, unanimous, to rezone this property from industrial to R5, because it's truly just an orphan piece of property sitting in the middle. It's an island sitting in the middle of R5 zoning.
All right, you've heard the presentation. Now I'll declare the public hearing to be open at this time for anyone who would like to come and speak to this board about this issue. Is there one? If not, I'll declare the public hearing to be closed at this time. And board, I again submit this final one to you for rezoning approval. Is there a motion?
Mayor Evans, I move that we rezone property on the north side of West Wilson Street and the east side of May Street from industrial district to residential 5,
Okay,
R5.
thank you. Commissioner Hobbs, you've heard the motion now, board. What is your pleasure? All those in favor? Well, do you have any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. The ayes have it. And that takes care of the public hearings. Now we're down to items for consent. I will not read out all of them. Most of them are appointments to Recreation Board. And I'll ask you, anyone desire any of these issues to be brought off the consent agenda, or can we deal with them with consent? This includes items 6 through 11. Anyone want to pull any item off the consent? Since hearing none, then I'll entertain a motion to approve all of these by consent.
I'll make a motion that we approve by consent.
Okay. Commissioner Elks, motion is to approve all of them by consent, and I'll ask you, board, your pleasure by saying aye or nay, items 6 through 11.
Aye.
Okay. Those are approved. We're down to item number 12 now, and that's resolution accepting a revised state drinking water fund offer. This will be item number 12, if you're following along with us.
And what we've got before you tonight, this was the $639,000 award that was previously made to the town. This was to replace a lot of the aged galvanized water lines in town, and also to provide a key interconnection up on the King Farm Road area. The town accepted that funding offer on April 2nd of 2018. And since then, the Division of Water Infrastructure is the funding agency. They reissued the offer to provide full disclosure of the requirement that the funds must comply with the federal tax compliance provisions. And that was specific to the Connect NC Bond Act of March of 2016. The basic premise of that is that there was a requirement in the Bond Act that states that you cannot use state grant money to improve a facility and then turn around and sell it, which is not the intent. This is to replace water lines. So what I've got in your package is a copy of the reissued June 11th, 2018 offer and acceptance letter from the state. No changes other than asking for re-acceptance of the offer with the disclosure of the requirement to comply with the federal tax provisions. And what I've got for your consideration is their standard resolution in your package that just agrees to accept the offer and acceptance and authorizes the town to execute any documents related to accepting those funds. Very similar to what you did back in April.
So you're looking for a motion to approve the revised funding offer,
Yes, sir.
and we fit, I mean, we don't have a problem with any of the revisions. We're good with all of
Yeah,
it.
there's no intent of not comply with the federal tax compliance provision.
Dave,
Motion that we approve the resolution accepting funding offer. Oh, okay.
You're in charge.
All those in favor, let me know by saying yes. Aye. Okay, we have a motion to accept. All those in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Share that. Let's see, 13 here, we have before us is the Wallace Street drainage improvement.
And what I've got on your for consideration, this is mainly a housekeeping issue. This was the $75,000 grant that was awarded to the town through Golden Leaf, administered by the Department of Commerce, to replace the failed storm sewer that was along Wallace Street. Every time it rained, you had a nice little flooding area down there. Construction on the project was performed by Everett's Clearing and Grading. The improvements were completed in March. With the completion of those construction activities, based on what we have spent, I've got a housekeeping resolution to just amend the capital project budget ordinance based on those expenditures. And I've got that resolution in your agenda package. And I just point out that, and we still have some timeline on this project, that you'll notice that I've got a contingency allocation of still about $23,000 that's available there. I've noticed that we've got a slight little collapse in Wallace Street over what appears to be the water line. You might notice there's a cone out there. What I'm going to seek to do is to try to go ahead and address that, since it is close to where we made the improvements at, and try to resurface that area and get that whole area back to get rid of that sunken area, allocating some of those contingency funds. Don't want to turn in grant money. So all I'm asking for your consideration tonight is to amend the budget just to housekeep based on expenditures that have been made to date, but not close the project.
And not specifically address the water line.
Right. I need to get prices.
Okay.
And I'll come back to you with a recommendation for that.
So you just need a resolution accepting the funding officer?
Yeah, we got that one. And this is a resolution on the next item.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we approve the resolution amending the capital project budget ordinance for Wallace Street.
Is that what you want? Okay, we have a motion, any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Ayes have it. Thank you, Rick. All right, we're down to 13 now?
No, 14 now.
14, okay, I missed one, didn't I? Okay. All right, 14. Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, this item is to deal with the Bonnie's Alley. The revitalization efforts that are ongoing to the former hardware store has a requirement to upsize the existing water line that's there. Right now, the back alley behind those commercial buildings is a 2-inch diameter water line, which is undersized to meet the needs. The redevelopment project is providing a sprinkler system and needs a 6-inch water line behind that alley to address their sprinkler system needs. The town has an 8-inch water line on Wilson Street that's going to require an open cut to the road that was recently paved.
Yeah.
And to extend that water line behind the back alley. In addition to that, there's a desire to replace the existing gravity sanitary sewer collection line that runs in that back alley also. This will allow that existing sewer line to be lowered while maintaining minimum grade, so we can serve really all the development behind that back alley. Based on that scope, we moved forward and we did an informal bid process to replace the water line and the sewer line. I've got a copy of a recommendation of award package to you. The low bidder on that was Tripp Brothers Incorporated, who is out of Aden. We received 3 bids for your consideration. I've got a copy of the recommendation of award letter and a capital project budget ordinance that would include the award based on the low bid to Tripp Brothers, which was $188,627.25. This would be a town allocated funded project in order to implement to move forward. So I did want to bring that to your attention. So what I've got for your consideration in that recommendation of award package is a resolution recommending award to the low bidder and adoption of a capital project budget ordinance. And I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Rich? You want 2 motions on this?
Just one. I got it all packed into one resolution.
Okay, all right. Well, you heard him. He made it easy for you. Anyone make a motion to award this construction and adopt the capital project ordinance, budget ordinance? So, is there a motion?
I move that we award the construction and create the corresponding capital project ordinance.
Okay, you've heard a motion by Commissioner Hobbs. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? No. The ayes have it. Thank you, Rich.
I'll be back.
You'll be back, won't you? All right. Item number 15 is the Music on Main scheduled for August the 19th. Jay Johnson.
Board Commissioners, thank you. We are officially going to have Music on Main, but we're going to add to it. It's Music on Main at May Museum. This will be taking place on the grounds of May Museum. The Breeze Band will be here on a Sunday afternoon from 3 to 6. And so we've got all that lined up. We do have a local food truck coming, Gorham's Cafe, as well as Kona Ice is coming. We do have some more vendors that will be on. I know Little Creek Market, there's a couple of more. We're working this out with the May Museum that the vendors, the money they're providing to rent the spaces goes to the Friends of the May Museum, so as a donation to them. So I've already talked with the police department, got everything straight with them. Talked with Wes at Stage, talked with Brian Shackelford, talked with Jeff Stansel about the porta potties. We've all got it all lined up. So I wanted to get that done before I came to you tonight, just to let you know. We invite everybody to come. It's going to be in the shade. It's going to be a lot cooler.
Won't be sitting on a hot asphalt, will you?
You will not be sitting on the hot asphalt. You will be in the shade, and there's a breeze blowing through there. And so, anyway, we'd just like everybody to come and show up and have a good time.
Good. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for Jay? All right. Thank you, Jay. Do we need formal action on this closing Pine Street?
No, I think we're okay.
Okay.
I mean, as long as, it's just that one block.
Yeah, okay.
Not even a whole block, is it? Isn't it just half a block?
Okay.
Chief, about half a block.
Sir?
Pine Street, close that, about half a block.
Yeah, I'm closing the whole block. It's not going to affect traffic.
Yeah, okay.
And we don't have people turning off Walnut Street, trying to go down the road, so that's why.
It says on here to approve the closure of West Pine Street between Main Street and Walnut Street for the event. So I didn't know whether
Okay.
you were looking for formal action.
Yeah, the main thing if it involved Main Street or
Yeah,
NCDOT,
okay.
we'd have to go through.
All right. And so we'll just say that's closed in. Okay. The next is item 16, which is blacksmith shop at May Museum.
Mayor, Commissioners, I don't have anything to add. I know I gave you guys the proposal before the last board meeting. I just want to thank you all for looking over that and hope that we can hear a decision tonight. Yes, sir.
All right.
It's also
Anybody?
in the pack. It was also put in your packet.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions for Lindsay? They can, yeah, well, as soon as I find out you don't have any questions. Okay. All right, is there a motion then?
I'll make a motion that we accept the activity of the blacksmith workshop at the May Museum.
Where'd you go? Oh. Okay, that's all right.
I didn't want to stand in the middle of there.
All right, and this is the building itself that we're talking about, right? Because you do have
It's on the grounds.
an event.
It would be
down-
on the grounds.
But an event that you're going to have here shortly, aren't you?
We have some blacksmithing classes. Yeah, they'll be
Okay.
in
Just don't
open
wanna-
air.
Just don't want to confuse the two. We're
Right, there'll
talking
be
about-
some classes in open air until the blacksmithing shop
Okay,
is.
so we're
is-
talking about the construction of the blacksmith shop.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And she has a motion that we approve it. Any questions? Any comment, any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Any opposed, no. The ayes have it. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, item 18 is what we got on our places here, David.
Back on,
Did I miss 17?
Yeah, I missed it. I missed it, yeah.
okay, 17.
17.
Yeah, surplus property sale. Back, I'm sorry, I didn't bring my file upstairs, but I'll talk to you from memory. Back in June, the board surplus, well, actually before that, the board surplus several pieces of real estate. And we offered them for sale, and we didn't really get much response. And at the June 26th meeting, I asked for additional time to market the properties. We put signs on all the properties, we advertised, got the word out, and since that time, we've gotten some offers, and I placed a list at your place. It says Town of Farmville Surplus Real Estate, and it was updated today at 5 o'clock. So basically, it has all the addresses, the parcel description, what it is, the tax value, the reserve, which is what we advertise as the minimum bid we would consider. And then the far right corner, or far right column, excuse me, is the bids that we received on these parcels. As you can see, there have only been 3 of these that we got any bids on. One is a vacant lot at the corner of, I think it's Cameron and South Main, which we asked for a minimum of $2,500, and we received a bid of $2,500. Another one was the old landfill site, which is vacant out on Stantonsburg Road. We asked for a minimum bid of $25,000. We got a bid of $27,000. And then there was the parking lots, which are 2 parcels beside Farmville Furniture. We asked for at least $20,000. The bid as of 5 o'clock is $22,000, but then since that time, I got another bid for $22,500. So at this point, I just said, I'd give you the report. I don't know if you want to, how you want to proceed with this. There's several options. I know that the landfill site, the police department has a lot of interest in doing a firing range out there. So you may want to consider taking that off the list of property for sale. I think it's perfect based on whatever. I haven't personally been out there to it yet, but I understand it's a great site. It's remote. We can build berms and get back to it. It's way off the road. So you may want to consider removing that from the list. So assuming that you want to consider these offers that you received, really your options are to continue to receive prices, and I would certainly recommend that for the ones that you've received no bids on. You may want to do some things there. And one possibility is even auctioning the properties. I know you've done that several years ago. You may not get a lot of money for it, but you get money right away. So you may want to consider that, or you can leave it open for a while and see if you get any other offers through. Those would be the ones that would be the lots that you've gotten no offers on. As far as the lots that you have offers on, you can either just leave it open, continue to see if people keep bidding on it, or you can start going through the upset bid process, which is you take formal action to accept the latest bid, high bid, and then you advertise it, and then the next party has 10 days to upset the bid, that kind of thing. But each time you do that, there's a new 10-day clock. It just keeps going back and forth. Given the interest in the piece of property beside the furniture store, you may want to leave that open some more, because as soon as I tell the person that was the low bidder at 5 that someone has bid at 5:15, I know he's coming back because I talked to him this morning. So we could, and if he comes back, then we have to start that 10-day clock. Then wait another 10 days, and then somebody else bids. Wait another 10 days, and you keep putting ads in the newspaper, the Farmville Enterprise, or the Reflector. Get a lot of ad revenue from us. But, so there's a number of ways you can deal with it, but that property seems to have a lot of interest. The others, we probably still need to do some work or consider an auction.
David, a couple of things. On the Sandberg Road, we've got a bid of $27,000.
That's right.
We put this up for sale. Are you saying now we need to renege on that and take it off and not sell it?
Well, that was,
Can you do that?
sure, you can, even if you went to the very end, even started the upset bid process, I think I mentioned it at the very beginning of this whole process, you can decide that you don't want to sell it at the very end after you've gone through, ad after ad after ad, until such time as you actually accept and get the check from the guy and whatever. So you can back out anytime. But, I mean, the police department, the police chief may want to speak to like I said, I haven't personally.
I'd like to hear that.
Been out to the site. I've just been to the entrance, but.
How did we miss that going into this? That's the only question I got, Chief. I mean, we put this out 25, now we're at 27, and all of a sudden we don't want to sell it. I don't understand. Just explain that to me.
When Sam Nobles was here, and Paul Ellis was actually involved in the conversation, we talked about the landfill property. And then it was my understanding that all of that was sold at the same time, and the landfill property was gone. And it wasn't until the last board meeting when I heard that the landfill property that was up to be sold, that I knew anything about it still being owned by the town. And so when that happened, I approached Mr. Hodgkins and I said, that would be an ideal firing range for us. Right now, we lease a piece of property that doesn't belong to us, and there's people that go out there and tear up our target holders. We have a Connex container out there. It's just not ours. It's stuff that we have out there gets tore up, and
Just, we're gonna be here all night.
Okay.
Simple question. You were not aware of this until
last month.
So that's the grounds that I would be working from, saying you didn't know it. Had you known it, it would have never been on it. That's what I needed to know, Chief. I don't mean to sound out of line, but that's all I need to know.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I need to know. Let me say this too, if I may. We put this stuff up for sale because we're holding up Paul Ellis. We got people in town that have been out of shape. In fact, there was almost could have been a disturbance in our last meeting because some people were upset, claiming that we were not moving fast enough. Am I right, Paul? When I tell it wrong, you stop me now. Because we weren't moving fast enough on tearing down buildings and taking this money and reinvesting. I'm not one for kicking the can down the road. We put a price tag on it. The price has been offered. Chief, you got an exception there. But we got a price tag on these properties, and if we don't want to sell it, let's go ahead and take them all off. But if we're going to sell it, let's go ahead and sell it and leave these other properties. If these other properties are not doing anything, we can come back and say, okay, they haven't sold. We're going to put them up for an auction, because the last thing we need is we don't need these properties, and we're holding up Paul Ellis when we're holding up a lot of buildings in Farmville. And our agreement was we were going to sell this property and start cleaning up our town. And what I'm hearing tonight is, whoa, here, let's just kick the can on down the road. Upset bids process doesn't bother me at all. I am concerned that the upset bid was only $500. I thought there was a little more money than that involved. So I'm asking the board, if we've committed to this, let's go ahead and sell what's out there, keep these other properties out there that we got and sell them, and look for the reserve bid that we got, and at which time we realize that does not work. Then maybe we can come back and auction it. But we have committed. Paul, help me here. We have committed to get this money in here and start cleaning up this town. The planning board has been asking about it. Elmer Flake's here. Elmer, has the planning board not discussed us moving faster on this? So that's my point, is what I'm hearing is kicking the can down the road, and I'm not about that. We got $25,000 here that, Paul, that'll go a long ways, won't it? That's right. And if we have to go through the process of every 10 days, then so be it. But let's start doing what we committed to do. We owe it to the citizens to clean up the neighborhood, because obviously the landowners, the property owners are not going to do it. I know that sounds rough and it sounds out of line, but we made a commitment. I say we go ahead and do what we're committed to. And Chief, like I said, had we known this wouldn't have been out there. I'm all about taking that off and turning it into something you don't have to pay rent on, and you can look after it.
Just a point of clarification on the upset. We haven't started the upset bid process. We're just taking offers. So somebody could have texted me while we were in here, which they didn't, of course, and said, I'll give you, $23,000 Up until the time that this report was made, or until you start the upset bid process, I can keep getting just offers from people, and it doesn't, they can,
Well, that's
they can
not-
increase it by $1. But now, going back to the upset bid, once you start the upset bid process, you do have to increase it by 10% of the first 1,000, and then 5% of every 1,000 over that. So you don't get these $500 increases and all that. So once you start that formal process, then you do have that minimum increase.
The upset bid process is not governed by this board. What is governed by this board is the fact that we made a commitment to sell it and get the money to Paul Ellis and start cleaning up our town. That's what we can govern. The upset bid process, it is what it is. I'm asking this board to stick to our guns on what we said we were going to do and start cleaning up our town with these funds. If these folks want to upset this bid for every 10 days, that's up to them. But let us make a commitment that when the engine comes when the train comes to the station, we're going to sell it. And right now, that's not what I'm hearing. That's not what I'm hearing. So if it's upset bid you're after, let's put it in play and go ahead and let these people deal with it through that process. But let's live up to the commitment that we made. And then if we can't sell these other properties, and that may be what some people are after, if we can't sell that, then we come back and consider the auction. But I do say keep these out there because somebody may not know that it's available.
Right. Oh, yeah, if we don't have a bid, then I'm all for leaving it out there and doing whatever we can to market it. So if you want to start the upset bid process on, well, certainly the one that the lot is $2,500, I would certainly recommend you start that. And if you wanted to do the parking lot, then you just need to make that motion that there would normally be a resolution in front of you. I don't have that tonight, but what I'll do is put it together based on whatever action you take, with the assumption that you're beginning the upset bid process on these particular parcels. And you probably need to do a separate resolution for each parcel.
Well, whatever the procedure is, based on the newfound information and the fact that the chief did not understand or didn't know about the landfill, and I think there may be an opportunity later on to use some of that dirt, who knows? But that come off the list, that is no longer available for sale, and then we proceed with the upset bid on these other ones, and in 60 days, we revisit and see what's on the list. But we're letting a nickel slow up $1 here.
David, did you say that since 5 o'clock you got $500 more on the parking lot?
That's correct. Now it's 22.5.
So they're still coming in.
They are. That's why I was saying that. I mean, I know that when I call the thing, the person, I mean, there's a bidding war going on between two parties.
And I think we need to take advantage of that.
I mean, I know that I can,
Mayor, would you like the motion?
Yeah, let me hold on just a second, John.
I know it will. I know as soon as I make the call to order. If I texted them right now, you could probably, if you respond.
Well, why would we, why don't we wait? Upset bid, does upset bid bother anybody? Process.
It's the process. It upsets you. I mean, it upsets you, but it's the process
I know, but
that's in place.
at this point, we don't have to assign this to the upset bid, but it certainly looks like it would be smart to do that.
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead with your
I'd
motion.
like to make a motion that we take 0 Stantonburg Road, 79677 vacant lot, old landfill off the list, making it no longer for sale, and those items that we adopt and begin the upset bid process on properties that are needed.
Okay.
Okay, just to be specific, you're talking about the 4102 South Main Street, where you have a 2,500 bid, and you're saying the 0 South Main Street, the parcel 15183 and 15219, which you now have a 22.5 bid on.
And I'm saying initiate the upset bid process for those two, and furthermore, take off the vacant lot, old landfill, which we have a $27,000 bid on, and it is no longer for sale, if that is legal.
And this is, just to make it clear, you're adopting a resolution that you haven't seen, but basically it's going to say, start the upset bid process on those
Yes, sir.
parcels we just talked about.
Should we wait for that resolution?
Well, it would be another month before you got, I would just say, direct me to do the I mean, it's just a standard resolution. It's not, as long as I know which parcels, I can send it out to everybody tomorrow so you'll have a copy of it. But I just want to make sure that you knew if you're voting to approve the resolution, to start the upset bid process.
All right, take us back through that again.
The properties, right?
Sorry.
Going to start it on selected properties.
Yes, only on the two parcels next to the hardware store, the furniture store, and the one on South Main that we have a $2,500 bid on. Everything else you don't have bids on, and you've already, except for the landfill, which you said that you won't take on. Everything else just remains in play, and we keep trying to get bids and get interest.
Now, 4102 South Main is one that we put on the upset bid?
Yes, sir.
Yes, that's, yeah.
And the parking lot at Farmville Furniture, and what about the old landfill? You didn't mention
The
that.
landfill asked that it come off the list, if that is.
We're just going to bring that off the list.
Yes.
All right, does everybody understand that? Okay, this is a motion, would be a motion to accept these and to take the action based on a resolution that the town manager will provide us shortly. So, is there a motion to do this? John, I think you've made that motion. All right, any discussion, further discussion? All those in favor of this, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. The ayes have it. That take care of item 17, all right?
Mayor, if I could ask Paul,
Yeah.
Paul, do you have signs on all these properties?
On the majority of some of the smaller lots, we do not yet, but I have signs to put up.
And also, can you tell this board where they're being marketed, where you were promoting them?
That's it.
This is it.
I don't have it ready.
We read it ahead, the paper, all the parcels.
And just the signs.
Okay.
That close that out, everybody vote, we voted on that, didn't we, Amy?
Yep.
Yep. All right. Item 18 is the one I tried to get to a while ago. And Rich is here with us.
And what we got, this is on the Basin 5 sanitary sewer replacement project. Back in September 2017, we submitted 2 applications to try to maximize the funding opportunity for the town. We divided Basin 5 into a north and a south target area, and we submitted 2 applications to the state for funding. In March 2018, the town was issued 2 letters offering grant assistance. One was for about $1.1 million, and the other one was $1.5 million. These were 100% grants to replace sewer, again, all in the Basin 5 target area. In your agenda package, I've got those 2 March 1st offer and acceptance letters that have been issued by the state, and an application map that shows the general target area of where the sewer is proposed to be replaced, which was based on documented backups that the town had identified, and also we had petitions from the citizens who acknowledged that they had problems, and those were really the impetus behind what got this 100% grant award to the town. So we appreciate that. We've met with the state for the ease of processing. The state desires to combine the grant offers into a single project, which will be easier. And so what they are asking is that the town accept the consolidated funding, which is $2,614,000, accept the offer and acceptance, and in support of that, adopt a capital project budget ordinance that is kind of based on the applications with some, just slight changes to go ahead and allocate the resources. And this will allow that project to move forward. Did have a milestone schedule that was in it. The first scheduled milestone event was submittal of an engineering report. That has been submitted. They came back and asked us to consolidate 2 documents into one. We've also done that. So we've met that milestone event, and we are ready to move forward with preparation and submittal of final plans and specifications. So what I've got for your consideration tonight is to adopt a resolution that accepts the offer of $2,614,000, authorizes or adopts the capital project budget ordinance, authorizes the mayor and town manager to execute all appropriate documents related to acceptance of those funds. And I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Rich? Okay, is there a motion that we approve this resolution accepting this funding offer? And you don't need a second on this, do you?
No.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Motion that we approve the resolution accepting funding offer.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Shackelford that we accept this. Any discussion up here in the board? If not, is there a motion? So I'm still thinking about that second one.
You still think about it second? Sorry.
If,
Better safe than sorry.
That's right.
yeah. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? The ayes have it. Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Some of these people require a second. I don't. All right. Determine, next is item 19, determine the Board of Commissioners' future regular meeting schedule. And I guess this would be Monday night versus Tuesday night. Anybody have a comment up here?
I do. We did discuss this briefly at the last meeting, the table for tonight, and I think in order to continue communicating more effectively and timely in publicizing the town meetings and the enterprise, I would like to recommend that we stay with Monday night.
Okay, won't you make that a motion?
I make that a motion that we continue to have the meeting on Monday nights.
Okay, you've heard the motion by Commissioner Hobbs that we continue meeting on Monday night. Is there any discussion on this motion?
I'd like to make an amendment to it, sir,
All right,
that any and all business concerning the fire department will be placed as the first agenda item. Anything pertaining to the fire department will be the first item on the agenda.
okay.
And I accept his friendly amendment.
Okay. She accepts your amendment, and so we'll vote on Monday night and the first item. Now, we have a standard for public hearings to be first. David, I don't know whether that causes you any problem or not.
As long as you can keep your public hearings as close to the start of the advertised time, which is 6:30. As long as it's not, a lot of big gap. I think.
Well, such as we had tonight, I mean, you got 5 public hearings. Well, it may not be a problem.
That probably won't be a problem.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and vote on it, and we'll see. I don't think it'll be a real problem. All right, so we do the motion as amended, motion by Hobbs and the amendment by Commissioner Bolt. All those in favor of this amended motion, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. The ayes have it. So that puts that to bed. All right, item 20. It's just one meeting, and that being on Labor Day.
Your meeting in September, first Monday is Labor Day, so this board has always, since you've been doing Mondays, since that other day, I would recommend the Tuesday for that one, the next day.
All right, you heard the recommendation that to town manager has, and let's make Labor Day on Tuesday, which is reverse what we just voted on, but only for 1 month. So is there a motion that we select Tuesday?
I'll make a motion that we have our September meeting on Tuesday, September the 4th.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Elks that we have our regular meeting on Tuesday in September, and then we'll revert back to the Monday schedule. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, no. The ayes have it. All right, that takes care of all of the printed agenda up there. We did change citizen comments to item K in the closed session to following the citizen comments. Now, citizen comments at this point of the game, you can come and make them about anything you've heard here tonight. You don't have to have signed up or anything like that. So is there anyone who would like to come forward and speak?
Good evening. I wanted to add what Principal Brad said about the lunch that we'll have on August 22nd, beginning at 11:30. Last year, we served 300 staff, so your $400 that you have generously given will go a long way. Thank you very, very much. That is so exciting. If you would like to donate some of your time between 11:30 and 1, come on out, have a burger, some salad. That would just be fabulous. It was a wonderful way to begin the school year, and the teachers and the staff felt greatly appreciated. The second thing I would like to comment on is thank you for your generosity towards the Farmville Community Arts Council. This year, your generous distribution of funds will also go a long way. If you have not heard, we are having a gala, Falling for the Arts, October 6th. It's a Saturday. And you may be asking, well, why? We are almost to the point where we have the funding for the roof, to repair the roof. In 3 years, we will celebrate 100 years of the Paramount Theater. And we are preparing with this gala, so I hope you will join us. It will be at the DAR House. You can put on your fancy shoes. If you have a tux, please wear it. If not, please don't be concerned. It's a black tie suggested. So please come. We want all of you to be there and to celebrate this amazing building and the arts in Farmville. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Anyone else?
Good evening. I'm sorry that Mr. Thomas isn't here tonight, but I'd like to thank you for the work that you're doing on the sidewalks on Williamsburg Road. I think it's a great addition to our town, an investment in the health and safety of our students, our families, and teachers. So thank you for all the work, and the public services department's working on it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Anyone else?
I have a couple things.
Okay.
The first thing is, I'm just kind of putting this in everybody's bonnet, I guess, but Hometown Halloween, we will be doing that again this year, and I'll be getting with Chief Green and Mayor Spencer about what we'll need to ask for in September about streets and things like that. And then the second thing is, well, actually the second thing I want to talk about is on September the 17th, we're going to have our third annual First Responders Dinner. That will be held at the First Baptist Church at 6 p.m. and we are planning an old-fashioned cookout for all of our police officers, fire department, rescue members, dispatchers, anybody that's involved with being a first responder. This will be the third time that we've had this, and we like to celebrate them and let them know how important they are to us. We typically have anywhere from 75 to 100 people come because we let them invite a guest, and the entire Board of Commissioners is invited to come and attend. But I just want to make you aware that we are doing that again. And the other thing is, David, this is kind of a question, I guess. I received a message tonight that someone has contacted 9 on Your Side about Crest Lawn and the North Carolina Department of Crematory. cemeteries or whatever they are, the NC Cemetery Commission. We don't have anything to do with Crestlawn, correct? Okay,
That's not one of our cemeteries.
perfect. I just wanted to
I got the
that
same
clear.
message.
Okay.
I just haven't responded yet.
Good. Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much all I had. I, wanted to talk about the first responders and the bugging everybody's ear about Hometown Halloween, and of course our Farmville Christmas Parade, which will be December the 8th, I think, is the second Saturday in December.
All right, sorry I missed part of that, Brenda, but I ain't catch it back up.
I'll tell you about the other thing I talked about in this meeting, because you're involved in that, so.
Okay, all right. Anyone else?
6 o'clock, Angela.
Where is that? Oh, back there, okay. All right, if there's no one else, then the citizen presentation, we have a closed session scheduled as authorized us by North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A5. And so I'll entertain a motion now to go into closed session for that business. Anyone?
Motion, we enter closed session.
Okay, motion made by Commissioner Dixon that we go into closed session. Thank you, folks, for coming tonight, and we are in closed session.